Make it sound interesting.
Right, now then, Mark Hambley. Here we are, we're going to talk about Europe, or at least that's the intention, you and me.
Europe's a good topic.
Yes, well, I would say so, actually. And Brexit and the solution to all of Britain's pain. Which, actually, it's an ideological issue for me and for everybody in Britain. And that's why I think that it is meaningless when people talk about the economic pain that we will or we will not suffer. And everybody has a different take about that, in my view. Well, no, not in my view, in everybody's view, because you see them all over the bloody country. One person says it's going to be a catastrophe. The press says it's going to be a catastrophe, and then you get true Brexiteers saying, "Oh no, we'll be better off."
But the way you're going about it in this country, you're making a self-fulfilling prophecy. It will be catastrophic if you're not going to make a decision, a decisive decision, which will let you go forward.
You mean because we're havering?
You're what, 40 days from March 29th? Nothing's been settled.
Yeah.
The government is threatened every week by new amendments coming in to alter Prime Minister's way of fixing this problem, and I think it's a big problem for you that way.
Yeah. So my suspicion is that you think we should never have done it in the first place, but now we've done it. We should get on with it. Is basically
No, my position. Again, not being a member of the European Union, just as an American, I think it's regrettable that the UK has withdrawn from the European Union.
Yeah.
Europe is a huge bureaucracy. Obviously, it needs to be repaired in order for it to play the role Europe should play in world affairs. And to do that, you have to have countries which have the fortitude and the strength, the determination to do that. And if you withdraw, it's not going to happen. You'll have countries will divide along different lines. There'll be a very fractured situation in Europe over time. You have a domination by France and Germany probably. And I think it's unfortunate the UK is withdrawing at a time when its wise leadership and statesmanship might be able to reform the European project in a way which makes it attractive to all countries. It's getting so large now. 28 member states with the UK at the moment. It'll be 29. Macedonia comes in, back 28 when the UK withdraws. So it's unfortunate you'll be sitting out at a time when I think the UK would be very useful to have its
dogs barking now. Just at this critical point in the discussion,
to have its voice heard. And here we have another for the Canaanites. I don't know if Indy is.
Yeah, well, Indy's part of the equation. We can have her in the picture. Here she is.
No. But if you make the decision to withdraw, then you should withdraw.
Yeah.
There are WTO rules, training rules, which will give you a way forward. I would be focused more on that rather than trying to work on this relationship with Europe at the present time.
Yeah.
The Europeans will not concede their position. They can't afford to. If they do, every country will want to have individual rights and privileges within the Union. They can't do that.
I mean, there are advantages coming out. They always... everybody complains that we're going to have American rules with regard to sort of chlorinated chicken or whatever that is suddenly going to flood the British market.
Our chicken is organic as well. We have these same concerns.
Yeah, but you wash them in according to our press.
According to some of your press may do that, but that's not the case at all.
Well, okay. Anyways.
We have Bayer, your great company, which is putting pesticides in the U.S., which they prohibit in the EU. That's a problem. But
well, yeah.
That's another issue.
But actually... That said, in many respects, if you're an animal lover, sorry, Indy, I'll put you down. If you're an animal lover, then we're better out of the European Union because a lot of the treatment of animal issues have been worse under the EU because of, the closing of the small slaughterhouses because they don't meet EU hygiene. And if you're going to bark, come back here. Otherwise, just behave. But the point is that a lot of these animal health and welfare issues under European Union law, I remember it from when we were farming, the transport of animals. Now you can transport animals much greater distances, and you have to indeed, because there are far fewer slaughterhouses. So the general animal welfare issue is poorer under now that we're part of the EU. And if you're talking about fisheries, that's atrocious. It has been for years. They're trying to improve it now, but for years we've had this quota system whereby we chuck fish back dead. European Union insanity. I mean, the worst form of insanity, the worst waste. And if you think fish have feelings, I mean, it's arguable. It's blooming cruel and pointless. I mean, it's just pointless. Sure. They're now starting to think about ways to get around it by making the fish into animal feed. You know, the fish that is bycatch. But it's all ridiculous, and there are so much better ways of handling fisheries than having species by species fish quotas. You have no-take zones. I'm sorry, I'm getting technical, but you can have no-take zones, whole areas where the fish breeding grounds are, and have no fishing in that region at all, and your stocks would recover. And I think that's what they did.
Well, will this particular, if it was a drop in the EU, is that going to change much in the UK? Will your fishing industry come back?
Yeah, I think it will, because you'll have. Yes, you've got a. Michael Gove, who's the minister responsible for environmental matters, farming, fishing, and so on. I know the guy actually. He's angling to be the next prime minister. A lot of people regard him as a waste of space because when he was in education, he was a manic reformer, and we didn't need more education reform. But
need to reduce prices.
Yeah. But in farming, agriculture, we do need reform, and oddly, he's an environmentalist. It's a big surprise, really, but he is. He's a relatively young bloke. So he's introducing a whole series of ideas with regard to new farming policies that are environmentally based. I quite like what he's got in mind. So it might be
what?
Which is basically subsidies will be, because in the moment we've got subsidies based on a European style thing, so quota system, and there's the blasted phone. But Veronica, let the thing ring, and we'll phone them back. Otherwise, we can't do a darn thing. We're here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be impossible. We'll try and continue here. V, can you phone them back, sweetheart? Otherwise, I have to cancel this whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the problems of having a podcast from our little midget living room here in Cornwall, where we are.
Long live Cornwall.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark Hambley's Cornish. Cornish blood. Yeah. Where were we at? So.
Michael Gove and
okay. Well, let's move on swiftly, because that's enough of him. But where we are now, there's no retreat, because in my view, because you would cause so many ructions if you were going to have a rerun of the referendum. But what you could do, because the MPs can't make up their mind about anything. They've proven themselves utterly incompetent, and really undeserving of any public support. I mean, the whole lot of them should be lined up against the wall and shot, and we should start again, because they have been a disgrace. Actually, the members of Parliament have been an utter disgrace. So. But what you could do is give the decision as to the form of Brexit back to the people. You could have a referendum that said either a soft Brexit or customs union, or Theresa May's deal, or hard Brexit, and just drop straight off the edge of the cliff, which I think.
Would you say it will not cause any disruption if you?
Well, no. I mean, a surprisingly large proportion of the population. I don't think a majority, but a surprisingly large proportion of the population would like to see Britain leave the European Union with no deal. The MPs, of course, are strongly against it because they think they know better. But they've proved that they absolutely know nothing because they're completely incompetent idiots. They've been squabbling like little children. And anyway, I mean, the whole basis on which they think is so out of touch with reality. You got the governor of the Bank of England. We've had this before. Canadian, good man, but when it came to the Brexit issue, he was saying, "Oh, watch out if it's if we go Brexit, house prices will collapse." Well, half the country breathes a sigh of relief. I mean, everybody would like house prices. Well, not everybody.
If you have a mortgage, you don't.
Well, yeah,
That's
all right.
the problem.
And if you're
Yeah,
super rich,
yeah.
you don't. But many young people are crippled.
Yeah.
They can't get in the housing market because of these ridiculous house prices. In areas like Southwest, house prices are completely out of.
That's a universal problem in
Yeah.
Europe, U.S., all over.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's indicative of how out of touch the elite are in this country, that they sort of wave up their hands in horror and say house prices will collapse.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are completely out of touch with the people. And that's why they're getting punished again and again. I think a lot of the original Brexit thing is because the elite are Remainers. The people want to punish the elite. It's like the election of Trump in America.
Well, not all of your leader Remainers.
The majority
Isn't
of
Boris Johnson an elite? I mean, you know.
He's certainly a part of the elite. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
but I have a difficulty though with the whole question of having these referenda to decide national policy.
Yeah.
I think that's a real bad omen for the future democracy. We should elect leaders to make decisions. To make those decisions, then we should elect new leaders. But to force these questions onto a public, which is generally very ill-informed, I think is a real.
Switzerland has been run by a referendum for generations.
And they didn't have women didn't have the right to vote until 20 years ago, 10 years ago or something. Many cantons in Switzerland. So I don't think it's a very third world countries are famous for referenda. I mean, time and again, Syria had referenda on its constitution. Egypt, every country in the Middle East has had referenda, which are not very effective ways of creating good national policy. So I think it's regrettable that you had that referenda on the EU question, Scottish independence. These are not issues that should be decided in that manner, I don't think.
And now you don't think it's a good idea to go back?
No, I don't think you should go back.
But when you've got an incompetent parliament like we've got...
If you go back, what's in to stop another referendum? You start a pattern of having referenda in the future. You're setting precedent here. And this may get you over this current hump for 2019. In 2025, so now let's go have another referendum, and you can't keep having this. It's not a way to do proper government.
Yeah, but in Britain, the traditional thing would be a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister. You have a general election.
Exactly.
Not in the government specifically. A vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister doesn't change things in this country. A vote of no confidence in the government, and you have a general election.
Yeah.
But our members of Parliament are moral cowards. They're frightened of losing their seats, so they won't pass a vote of no confidence in the government, and instead they're trying to find ways to manipulate things. I mean, it's a disgrace, really.
Your time span is so narrow now. Between now and March 29th, how do you hold another referendum?
Yeah, you'd have to hold another referendum. You'd have to have a delay in Brexit.
And your European partners, I'm not sure. Don't underestimate their malevolence towards the United Kingdom.
No,
we know the Commission wants to be done with you because you
Yeah.
exert a very negative influence towards their efforts to try to control everything.
But that said, the problem is that the European Union's in big trouble, because if we have a no-deal Brexit, which presumably is the alternative, then heaven knows. I mean,
maybe you won't pay the 32.
well,
billion
exactly.
pounds
Well,
or
you
something.
certainly won't. I mean, and the European Union budget is in a mess.
Yeah,
Everything's
of course,
in a mess.
yeah.
So,
You pay disproportionately.
yeah, well, we pay nothing if we drop off with a no deal, and that's.
But
a
the Europeans will exert everything they can, trade restrictions, in order to get that money from you. This is part of the problem.
Yeah. They're already playing that game. I mean, they've
Yeah.
issued.
Yeah, but I think Britain must look out beyond the European Union in terms of its trade. The Commonwealth structure. Why can't you?
Well, we can, but that means Brexit.
But you have a WTO framework of basic
Yeah, so it's fine.
tariffs and
That,
trade
yeah.
regulation. That I should think to be the focus of conversation now for the United Kingdom, not on this back and forth where they had everybody's throats.
Yeah, well, in which case you're talking about a no-deal Brexit and get on with arranging.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put that out to the public to do it. So you made that vote, you're withdrawing. I think you have no choice. I think it's the wrong decision, but I think it'd be better just to continue now and focus on the future in that aspect, not trying to do to a deal with the
Right.
European Union, which would give you a lot of restriction in terms of your policy with no input.
So if we leave, where your view is, if we choose to leave, which is the worst decision in your view, then in that situation the best path is a no-deal Brexit.
Yes, if you accept the deal which Prime Minister May has concocted, it seems you have the same restrictions on your trade. The regulatory frame would be the same that you have now, but now you can tell them if you don't like something, you have a voice to try to change that. You won't in the future if you have this new framework. We've changed the law. You've got to change your regulation in the UK again. You have nothing to say about it.
Yeah.
It's a huge document. I haven't read it, obviously. I don't think many members of Parliament have either. But
No, I'm sure virtually none of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think the problem you have, business wants to have decisions they can plan. At the moment, they can't plan. If you tell them we're not able to make the decision, it'll be a soft note. You don't have to change your terms. Don't have to call it a hard break. Just say we're going to be leaving. We can't work out an arrangement. We'll work WTO rules.
Yeah, well, okay, but it is a hard Brexit, isn't it? I mean, it's...
Well, yeah, but these terms have so many connotations. People, hard Brexit means now I can have my French croissant, in Paris.
Oh,
You had those 1960s for your members of the European Union. You'll have them again. I mean,
yeah.
Your French champagne still come in. Make good champagne here now as well. Anyway, so
Okay. Okay, well, we solved it all then.
I think so.
All right, that's it. Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, let's see. We'll stop there. All right.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yemen. This is what I'm talking Yemen.
Yemen next time.
That's the next topic.
Okay. All right.